Diversity and inclusion is very important to us at Westpac, and the key component of allowing our people to bring themselves to work and be the best they can be is allowing them flexibility. In 2016 we did a survey. 86% of our staff said that they wanted to see more flexibility for themselves in the next 3 years, and 62% said that they were already working flexibly to some extent or other. One of our branches 2 years ago was in a situation where the business demands in terms of volumes of people going through the branch were dropping off, and that meant that they had to reduce their staffing ratio to match that lower demand by about the equivalent of one full-time equivalent employee. The branch manager, rather than just take one full-time equivalent out, sat down with the whole team and said, how are we going to do this? All options are on the table. The staff and the team with the manager collectively came up with a plan where all of them, for their own reasons, said they would prefer to work less than full-time. So they came up with a plan where each staff member works about 0.8 or 0.9 times a full-time role. As a result of that, they're all working very slightly reduced hours in that particular branch. But the stats have gone up enormously. So productivity's gone up. The customer satisfaction is now 200% of their original customer satisfaction goal, and they're the #1 branch in the whole region for customer satisfaction. So that, I think, is really quite an outstanding example of what you can achieve, even though it seems initially slightly counterintuitive, by allowing more flexibility. It's often a fallacy to think that we in management have all the answers. To make diversity, inclusion and flexibility work, often the answers are best found by asking the people themselves what works for them. The challenge is to find the sweet spot between what works best for the individual, what works best for the team, and what works best for the organisation as a whole. It's hard to say there was one single thing that made a difference for us. I think there's a small group of actions. The first, I'd say, is to treat it like any other business problem, which means that if it's a business problem, you'd measure it, you'd set targets, you allocate accountabilities. We've set up a framework with a Diversity and Inclusion Council and a number of subgroups underneath that, which are populated by self-selected groups of our employees who are passionate about those issues. They work to come up with solutions, and they've got executive sponsors who take their ideas, again, try to find that sweet spot between the need of the employee, the team and the organisation. We're actually standing here in one of the new floors that we're fitting out to reflect the way that people are working these days, which is in an agile way, in teams that shift and change according to the type of work they're doing, and to cater for a much more flexible way of working, a flexible workforce. Importantly in that respect is to normalise flexibility. It used to be that, in our case anyway, flexibility was seen, I think, as something that really only applied to certain types of situations, such as a parent caring for a child. We have an employee here who's a FIFA referee. Obviously FIFA's global football calendar doesn't align fully to Westpac's agenda. So flexibility is really important for that person to be able to carry out their role as a FIFA referee. You know, most of our employees, as we found in the survey, say that flexibility is important to them.